Hi, everybody. My name is Iris. I am the CEO and co-founder of Cryptos and Kitties. Welcome to our first ever episode of the Toekenz Podcast. I have two amazing guests here today, including Jeff Allen, our marketing advisor. Say hi, Jeff.
Hello, Iris. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm super excited about this podcast and about cryptos and kitties in general.
Love to have you. And also Adam Raskin, another advisor and our NFT strategist who has his ear to the ground, his finger on the pulse, and is an NFT whale. We're so happy to have you here today, Adam.
Thank you, Iris. I'm happy to be here.
Great. So, your advice to me in starting up Cryptos and Kitties has been absolutely invaluable. I learned so much from you and from your experience. I mean, I think our listeners can really also learn a ton from you. So I'm so excited and thrilled to have you here today. And just, curious about, you tell us how you got involved in this space and why you were willing to join us today.
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate the kind things you've said. I love meeting with you every week. As I've said, in the past, I do love finding people to talk about this stuff with. So if we want to go back, I've been doing this now, NFTs, for a little over a year. I started back with Top Shot, NBA Top Shot. That was my first kind of look into NFTs, and I didn't know what an NFT was. My first thought was to make fun of why would I pay for a highlight when, I'm not making any money off of it. It's not like I could pay someone to see the video. It didn't make sense to me. But then I started to compare it to regular trading cards, and why is it any different? It's digital, and I started to really enjoy it. And then I started to look into the lists of other NFTs that sold and had volume, like NBA Top Shot. And that brought me to the CryptoPunks. And I saw CryptoPunks taking off. And I really looked into that story. And just to quickly tell that story, I'm not sure if everyone knows, CryptoPunks were given out for free to anybody who claimed them back in 2017. They're a collection of 10,000 profile pictures. And now they're worth, $200,000 a piece almost. So when I saw, the growth that can happen from something, from this asset class, that really got me into it. So I started, I moved in some money into my MetaMask account. And I guess this is the time to say I made about 100 mistakes. I went on to, looking back on it, waste a lot of money and learn a lot. I seem to think that if something was for sale for 2 ETH, then it's worth 2 ETH. It's there. It's for sale. Do I want to buy it? That's what it's worth. Yes, I want to buy it. I didn't know how to do research. I didn't know how to, I didn't understand that, yes, I bought it. Now I have to find someone else to buy it from me. It's not just a regular market of you can sell something so easily. And I took some hits. I really did. And I refined my strategies to be more of a spend less money, and take bigger risks. And my first thing I learned was do not invest in anything when you do not know what it does. Understand what it is before you buy it, always. So, I don't want to, take up, drone on and on with this, but as, I took some more chances and got really lucky with the Bored Apes. So the Bored Apes have, as everyone knows, have really, really taken off. I minted 3 of them. I just got very involved in the ecosystem, and I was flipping them for a while, and that was really the first time I started to understand value and flipping to make some ETH, and then using that ETH to stash some guys away, and then build up your portfolio. And And that really kind of kicked off my whole real, what I consider to be successful part of my, investing, really at that point. And so that's what really got me, going on. And I can keep talking, but that's what got me here.
I mean, I bet having some real success like that really just bolstered your entire effort in the
Well,
space.
yes. Well, it definitely did. It definitely did. And seeing why they succeeded really made me understand because, seeing that what they provided to the people that owned their NFTs, the fact that this, Yuga Labs, the fact that they continue to work and continue to provide, and they in the community, it was just continually getting bigger, and really led me to see, okay, how do who's trying to replicate that, or who's, as opposed to, there's such a difference between what people consider to be a cash grab, where you just, try to sell your NFT just to get that first sale, and then you're gone and you don't think about it. um
So, have you developed like some sort of short list of criteria that you look for when you're like poking around and looking for a good investment?
yeah, I definitely have. And it's funny because it's like a lot of it is the opposite of what you would think. Like, for
Go on.
example, hype to me, and these are all, and it's funny, I want to say this because I've seen other people say this, everyone needs to do their own research, and these are just, my opinions here.
You
But
are not a professional NFT advisor.
exactly. Um, to me, hype equals bad. The more something is hyped, the more something is, I get scared away from that. The more, especially if they're trying to sell something for so much money. Like, let's say some big celebrity who's never done
Like
an
Jack
NFT.
Dorsey's first tweet.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Somebody who has nothing to do with NFTs is just going to come in and sell 10,000 NFT. Melania Trump, right? Didn't she try to sell 10? What does she know about NFTs or anything? And so anything that's really hyped and really expensive off the, first sale, I won't even really look at it. Um, you need to be able to earn the ability to, for example, Bored Apes, they sold their mutants. I think their second ones, they did sell them for 3 ETH a piece. Well, I can understand that. They've proved that they can do that. But the first ones, the apes, they sold for 0.08 ETH. That's what a project should sell for in a first project. So again, I'm going on a tangent, but going back to your short list of, what I look for
Hmm.
projects that are, not trying to be a cash grab. They're trying to raise some money to work on a project that they're going to develop. What are we going to do down, in the future? And then I will say, that leads me to say, is the roadmap feasible? Are they promising me the moon? You can make a roadmap say anything you want. So you can't. It's tricky, right? This is an unregulated, asset class. So people can say whatever they want. You have to really, you're investing in the people, not necessarily the NFT itself, because you're going to continue to hope that those people produce for the community, if that makes sense.
The community of NFT owners.
That's right. Who owns those NFTs? That's exactly right. For example, you want these NFTs to provide any sort of utility, and the utility can be anything as small as, you log on here and you can get a raffle ticket. You need this NFT to get a raffle ticket to get this one of one piece of art. I mean, that's an incredible thing. Like, my only chance to ever own an X copy one of one maybe is to join one of these raffles, and they do that now, where, if you own one of his other pieces, you can join a raffle. And that in itself
That
is great utility.
That's cool. Let's talk a little bit more about that, the utility of an NFT. So you used a really great example, like the ticket NFT, right? An NFT that is uniquely yours that gives you access to something.
Hmm.
What are some of the other great categories that could be like? I could like. There's obviously the obvious one, fine art, right?
Hmm.
Like some artist creates some cool piece of art that's a digital piece of art that it has a physical analog or something like that. What are some others?
Well, I'm going to go straight to the Bored Apes. I'd love to talk because they're the ones who kind of taught me about this stuff. The Bored Apes, owning one of their NFTs gets you into their club, and that's the utility. And whether getting into that club means I'm allowed to log onto their website and order merchandise, or I'm allowed to play. They had a video game, a mobile game competition for a week that was only allowed to people who own the NFTs. And if you own the NFT, you can play the video game and you can compete, and there were prizes. All the way to the party that they had back in, at Ape Fest, which I was at, which was so much fun. Where Beck played and Chris Rock, came out, and you had to own an ape or a mutant ape in order to get into the party. So that's one sort of utility. But then you also have other sorts of utility where they're strictly financial in the sense that you can stake your NFT in order to earn another coin. Um, and that coin may be used in some ecosystem. For example, some play to earn. We haven't really spoken to about play to earn NFTs, which is another utility that can be used for NFTs, where whole gaming systems and ecosystems are built around one coin, and you own an NFT and you stake it to the system. You earn this coin so you can upgrade your NFT, or you can use it to buy a weapon in order to battle in this game. And the more upgraded your NFT is, the more coin you get. So it's worth, and these coins are worth, real money. They're not, they trade in the market. I've seen them trade for 5 cents up to, 25 cents, 30 cents. I'm not too familiar with actually, to be honest. I'm not sure what they are, um, but that's another utility for these NFTs. So that's really what I've been focusing my um, portfolio on. I kind of started with the profile pictures and started with these avatars, and they were just kind of pictures, which are cool and they were great. I feel we're going to be moving towards utility. It's going to be hard for an NFT to keep its value, I feel, without utility.
Yeah, you really feel this momentum or this pressure pushing us in the direction where, like, one day, if you want to go to a Taylor Swift concert, you're going to
Hmm.
have to be the owner of a Taylor Swift NFT to purchase the ticket and show up. And if you're not, if you don't have like the season ticket, then perhaps you can buy a share of it to get access.
Right.
And we may be moving to a universe where, this is a prerequisite. To be a Taylor Swift fan, you must have a bit of a Taylor Swift NFT.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just to add to that, when you said you buy a piece of it or rent it, right?
Right.
So you can go on and you can rent this hypothetical, Taylor Swift NFT, and then the person who owns it is getting this passive income of renting it out to other people to go to these shows. So
Yeah. This is
it
the
really does create this whole other ecosystem, and you're completely right. I see it going that way as well.
Right, it's less of a ticket to ride as it is a season pass.
That's right.
And 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 I've really taken this to heart when we've been developing our games for Cryptos and Kitties and for Tokens, because you can buy an app or a game on in the Apple store, in the App Store, right?
Mhm.
But that access to that game is not transferable, right? It's not something that you actually own. You're spending the $4.99 to be able to access and play this game. Whereas, purchasing an NFT on Tokens for $5 and then getting access to the game is an access that's then transferable should you choose to sell it in the secondary or third party marketplace, right?
Mhm.
So it really provides that ownership combined with access, of an experience, which I think is going to be super, super valuable. And again, it was all from, some of our conversations and the advice that you had given in experiencing this space, like your emphasis on authenticity and real community building and utility. Like all of these
Hmm.
have been so instrumental to shaping the UI and the UX around tokens specifically. And we also had, we're also tailoring the NFTs themselves, the strategies themselves, and a lot of that has to do with your experience, in the space as well. And part of the concept or theme for this episode was to actually give you, Adam, a challenge of what a starter portfolio could look like
Hmm.
of NFTs for a newbie entering into the space. And I know you've done some work on that.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
curious to dig in, but I think that
I
this is
I
super
took it
great
to heart.
primer.
I went to work. So let's go. So we said it was going to be 50,000, right?
Yeah, let's start. That sounds like
Okay, so
not a
I'm calling that 16.5 ETH is what I'm calling that.
Okay, we're gonna start with 50,000, 16.5,
16.5, 16 and a half Ethereum.
16 and a
Um,
half ETH. And this is a starter portfolio. We may
uh-huh.
or may not take on your challenge, Adam, and to see how this portfolio performs over time. But let's just say, for example, if Jeff were to have $50,000 to invest in NFTs now, this is what you would recommend to Jeff.
That's right. And I want to start the conversation with exactly what I said to you, because there's different ways you can build a portfolio, right? Do you want to build it to be super risky? Do you want to build it to be,
Now you sound like a money manager. Just tell me what to
yeah,
buy.
exactly. So the way I built this portfolio is I wanted to include a blue chip, and a blue chip NFT is one that I consider to be proven, one that I consider to be, one that's already shown that, they can produce, they're going to continue to produce, they're not going anywhere. And the community needs to be good. And I've talked to you about them before, and I'm going with the Cool Cats. So that's why I
And
wore
you
my
just and you just bought
my
back into
milk
the Cool
shirt
Cats.
for the episode, because that a Cool Cat, the coin that you can accrue is called milk for Cool Cats. Cool Cats, they minted for 0.01, a little over, almost a year ago, maybe a little less than a year ago. They were up at about 17 or 18 ETH at one point, Ethereum. They came
I
out
only
with the
have
second.
16 and change.
Yes. So then they came out with Cool Pets, and they were introducing a game, a play to earn game, right, for this coin milk. They had a little bit of an issue. The first day that they launched Cool Pets, they were hit by all these bots. They had to stop the sale. Then they tried to launch the game. Same thing happened. They had to shut it down right away.
But let's to
It's
clarify, nothing was compromised, right? They were just aware
Nothing
of
was
the
compromised.
attacks.
What happened with the game was, I think too many people it was just not working the way they wanted it to, and it was overloading, and it just wasn't the experience they wanted everyone to have. So they shut it down, and it was on hold for about 2 months. And in the NFT industry is the most impatient industry that I've ever really been a part of. Really, every week is like a year, and you'll see some people saying that Cool Cats are dead because they haven't done something now in a month. You'll see, people just really, really, using the term fudding, fear, uncertainty, and it's for this project. So Cool Cats have gone down to 7 ETH, is where the floor is right now. So I'm going to start this portfolio with, and remember when I said you do the opposite of what other people are doing is really my
Hmm.
strategy. Everybody's selling Cool Cats. I want to go buy one.
You
So I'm
sound
going to
like
put
Warren Buffett now.
exactly. I'm going to put one Cool Cat, and I'm going to put 2 Cool Pets. So the Cool Pets so now you can use these 3 in the ecosystem of Cooltopia, and you can earn the milk, and you can play that whole game.
Can you get a rocket
So
ship?
the cool pets are 1.1. So I'm just taking notes of how much we have in our portfolio. I'm gonna put 7.5 for the cool cat because you don't need to buy the exact floor one. We'll give you a little room to go up a little bit, and then 2.25 gets me to 9.75. So that's my blue chip, putting 60-70% of my money into that one. I feel it's safe. I think it's at a low right now, so I do feel there's room to go up once they prove again that they're going to be able to produce. So that's where I'm going to start.
And with the one cool cat and two cool pets, do you get a rocket ship?
Yeah. Well, with the one cool cat, you get the cool cat's a crew milk automatically, and the cool pets you play the game. You go on quests and you buy items, and it's actually it just launched. It was so funny. It launched last night, and there was a little jump, and it came down a little bit, and you should have seen me last night. I was like, I'm doing the thing tomorrow and the price is going up. I'm like, I'm looking at my portfolio. I was going to email you so I could get the price nailed down, but so that's our blue chip. Now I'm going to go next to our play to earn.
Let's speculate.
Sorry?
Let's speculate.
Yeah, exactly. So now I want to include Rumble Kongs. Rumble Kongs are they're going to be used in a 3-on-3 basketball game that's being made in the metaverse, where you own these Rumble Kongs, and they have stats such as shooting and defense and handle or whatever, and then you can use them in this game and again earn coins. The coin that I'm talking about, they haven't launched it yet, but there's also talk of you're going to be able to rent these, like I said, to other people who are putting together teams, right? Because not everybody's going to be able to buy a Rumble Kong, but you can rent them, and if you could do the math and rent 3 and earn enough coin while you're playing to offset the price, it's going to be a profitable scenario. So Rumble Kong has some great backing. I know that CAA has invested in them. I know that Steph Curry has bought one. A lot of NBA players are involved, which is very big in the NFT space, is to have people out there talking about it. So I really do believe that these are gonna take off once the game. So again, the game hasn't launched. People forgot about these. It's like I said, everyone is saying in the NFT space, what have you done for me lately? So these have come down. They shot up a little bit when Steph Curry bought one 2 months ago. They were up to about 3, and they're down now to 1. Sorry, I have it here, 1.3. So,
and to your earlier point,
I'm sorry.
To your earlier point, you were saying, a project can put whatever they want on a roadmap, but you believe that they're going to deliver on this game because of the project creator credibility, as well as some of these bigger name players that are in the space
exactly
that are
right.
going to keep them accountable.
That's exactly right. I look to what do they want to do, and are they going? Yeah, I feel they're going to do it. They have real people behind them helping them. This is not you do get worried sometimes where people launch these NFTs, raise this money, and then they have all this stuff they said they were going to do, and they're like, but I have $30 million in my pocket right now. Like, why do I need to do all that when I already have this $30 million and then they'll just, so you want to know that they,
a rug pull.
Exactly. You want to know that they, have the, that they're going to follow through on what they said. So that's agreed with everything you said. That's why I think Rumble Kongs will do that. So I'm giving us 3 ETH for 2 Rumble Kongs is going to bring us to 13.75. The next one I wanted to do, which is a little different than other NFTs, there's this one called Enigma Economy NFT. And what they do is they're raising money to build, to mine cryptocurrency. So they have sold these NFTs and they've built their own, mining warehouses. and your NFT owns a percentage of whatever they mine. So you go and stake these NFTs, and just over time, you get to go onto their website and claim whatever's yours. And that's what I really look towards, this passive income. What can I put my money towards that's just going to work for me? And I really, again, like the guys. I started small. I started paying attention to their AMAs, and I like the people. So I've gone into that a little, I don't want to say heavily, but I put some money into that. And
And by
they're
AMAs,
trading
you mean
low,
the Ask Me
about point.
Anythings.
Sorry?
And by AMAs, you mean the Ask Me Anythings.
Yes, that is big for some of these projects. I consider them to be like their, I think earnings calls in my head. It's not that they go over money per se, but having constant conversations with your community is so big, and hearing what they have to say and acting on it is also so big. Like, being criticized can bring you down, but the second you change what you do, say, listen, we've listened to you and we're changing this, you'll see a project come right back up just for, responding like that. So, I definitely agree with that. I'm putting 1 ETH towards the Enigma economy. That brings us to, I think I'm at 14.75. I wanted to round it off with one long shot. We're going with the Loser Club. It's by this guy. I wrote down his name. I don't want to. I just learned about him. Javon is his. The Catman is his. He's an artist. He made these cool. They're profile pictures. He's trying to make a club the way Bored Apes are, and it's just a great community. His whole thought is we're the loser club. We're all losers. And it's just funny, and you go in their Discord, and it's a fun place to hang out. So those are at 0.28. So we could buy 2 of those, and that puts us at about 14 ETH, I think, of what I have here. And then
I think that's an interesting example, because we have talked about the Loser Club.
Yep.
And I know that art does play a part in your decision making, right? There's
Yes.
a lot of financial considerations, but I know that you also love the art and resonate with certain types of art. And the Loser Club does have a very distinctive visual style.
That's exactly right. And I really, people do like different, you're right. And I seem drawn to the, cartoony sort of art. And that's, and yeah, you're right. It really does speak to me. And it's, some of the art, I see other ones that are very detailed and look like real pictures. And maybe sometimes that turns me off. I want to see it a little bit, drawn. And, but again, to each his own. There's different stuff out there.
Yeah. I mean, you said cartoony, but could you explain to our listeners, and maybe to Jeff, I don't want to presume, what it looks like?
What the the losers. He's it's a guy. It's a character. It could be a man or a woman. He's got a really long neck. With that's the distinction, is the long neck kind of. And then they're just they could be different, wearing different things. They could be I think there's one that's a Dracula, one that's there's just different hats that they're wearing, and different. It's just really cool. It's hard to explain really in words without showing you. But it's just it's a fun project that, again,
so are these meant to be like works of art then, in terms of like NFT styles? Is this like I could dress, like hang it on the wall of my virtual living room in the metaverse?
Well, it's funny because you bring up a very good, it's a good question that I can talk for a while about. There's crypto art that is crypto art that I consider art just as much as anybody who puts art in real, on paints a painting or these one-of-one beautiful pieces of art. I don't consider a 10,000 or a 5,000 piece project, to be that level of art per se. Yeah, it's art. I'm not, like the guys who drew the Bored Apes, are they artists? Of course. And they're great artists. Of course they're incredible artists, but it's a picture of an ape, and then they change little things around, I don't want to get into an argument with somebody who's comparing it to like, the Mona Lisa. And I'm like, no, I know it's not art like the Mona Lisa, it's not
The first profile pic.
Right.
exactly.
Sure.
But that being said, now that apes are worth $250,000, I've seen many
Right.
people paint them and put them on the wall.
Right.
I'm looking at a big neon sign of my ape that I have on my wall right here next to me.
Well, are
Show
there
us.
potential? Yeah, show us.
Can you show us?
Yeah, of course. Oh, I have to go this way.
Adam is picking up his
Can you
camera.
see it back there?
And
Yeah.
whoa! You have to see this. This is cool.
So, do you own the NFT, the digital NFT that represents that?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, okay, is there also like a licensing or royalty revenue stream open to you because you are the owner of this NFT? Like, what happens if you're just, walking through the metaverse one day, you're wearing your Oculus or whatever, and you go over to some dude's house and you're walking through his living room, his virtual living room, and there's your NFT hanging on his wall. What is one to do? Can you claim rights to that? Be like, hey, you can't. I own
Ooh.
that. You can't put a representation of my owned art on your wall. If you do, you got to pay me.
Ooh, or talk about the valet.
So I would say talk about Jenkins Valet.
Yeah, because
Well,
that's a derivative, right?
it is. But let's address exactly what you said. If I walked into someone's house and they had a picture of my ape on the wall,
That's my ape, bro.
I would be flattered. I would say, I thank you. I can't believe you love my ape so much to have it up on your wall. I mean, and it's great promotion for my ape. Now, if he told me he paid someone $5,000 for that picture, I'd want to know who took that $5,000, and that's wrong. Now, so anybody can take a picture of my ape and use it. Now, it's the difference between making money off of it or
Sure.
just using it. It's I really consider if somebody were to take my ape, put it on a shirt and wear it, just I'm not saying sell it. Sure, go right ahead. You can do that. You love my ape so much and you want to wear it on a shirt. But again, it's a different thing if you want to sell 200 of them.
Sure. And I
Um,
suppose that analog is true today for priceless works of art like, Starry Night or the Mona Lisa or whatever.
that's
Like there are companies that print them and sell them, but hopefully they have the rights to do so. And they have bought those rights from the rights owner. It's the
Or
same
just,
situation.
but that being said, I can just go online and print out a picture of the Mona Lisa and put it on my wall.
Of
I mean,
course, nothing could
I
stop
can
you.
do
Yeah.
that if I want to, and that's completely legal. And nobody, that's I don't own the Mona Lisa, but it's there on my wall. Like
Right.
so. I really look at it the exact same way. It's people can copy this stuff, and that's okay. People copy Gucci bags and make a fake Gucci bag. People copy Rolex watches and make fake Rolex watches. That doesn't make the original Rolex or the Gucci bag any less valuable. And then some would
Maybe
say it
more.
makes it more valuable. I mean,
Yeah.
because it's flattery when people are copying it and trying to make it.
Right.
So I don't see that being the downside of NFTs, that it's easy to copy, because as we just said, it's easy to copy other things as well, and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't ruin the whole industry.
So jumping back to the portfolio, are we done now?
So
Am I going to buy everything or
well,
there's
I
something
wanted to
left?
make one last comment that I thought was very important. I ended us about 1.5 to 2 ETH short. And that's because having liquidity is the most important part of an NFT portfolio. You can't sit there with 0 Ethereum. You have to always be watching for deals, because all of a sudden somebody's going to say, I have a cool pet and I need to get out. You'll see it. You'll see in the Discord. I got in a car accident today and I have to fix my car. I need $3,000. Can someone give me just 1 ETH right now for this? I need it now. And they're worth 1.5. And you're like, okay, here you go. And you need to be able to take advantage of opportunities is what I'm saying. So that was the
Sure.
last point I wanted to make about the portfolio, is to keep some money on the side for future use.
for when the Toekenz X platform launches and it's time to, acquire some of those NFTs, right?
That's
Add those
exactly
to the
right.
portfolio. Okay, so
So
that's
blue chip, some projects that you're super excited about that have the
Yep.
promise of utility and great backing.
Yep.
Um, a very interesting kind of strategic investment that has potential passive returns
Hmm.
and
Then with
liquidity. Am I missing
the
anything?
long shot with the loser clubs.
The long shot with the loser club. That's right.
Yep.
So the five pillars of the Adam Raskin
That's
portfolio approach.
that's
I'm
exactly
gonna
right.
do it.
That's exactly right.
We're gonna check back in a quarter and see how I'm doing.
Okay, I can't wait. I
I
hope
mean,
it's doing well because I'm pretty much representing my portfolio that I that I own. So,
I think on a long enough timeline, I think I'm gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously not everybody has $50,000 at their disposal, right? But I think on smaller scales that the five pillars that kind of informed your approach
yeah,
can be really helpful in start in testing out the waters with projects or on tokens as we really release the NFTs at a much lower price point.
yeah. And you think about it, if you take the actual cool cat out of that whole portfolio and just go with the cool pets and everything else, it's half the value. It's 25, right? I mean, the cool cat was. So you can do it without without uh, putting, buying the first project. You can, like I said, Cool Cats came out with Cool Pets. Bored Apes came out with Mutants, but now those are 28 ETH also. But at one point they were three, four, and people got into it back then at that point. So yeah, I definitely agree.
Awesome. So what would be, and I know we're a little bit over the time that we had initially proposed, but I'm into this. I hope you are too.
Yeah.
What would you propose for parents or grown-ups with little ones in their lives as they approach this space and how to do so responsibly, safely, while also, having fun?
How to help their kids? You're saying get into it? Is that's
Yeah, or to do it as an intergenerational
Yep, yep.
co-viewing type of
Um,
experience.
so and we've spoken about this so much about safety in the NFT space. That's the first thing that my mind goes to because I've seen very sophisticated NFT investors get scammed. I've seen people who know it. I've personally, knock on wood, I've never had anyone get into my wallet, but I've purchased, NFTs that weren't real NFTs because I've been scammed. And so the first thing I would say is you have to be careful and you have to take everything slow. Um, the term FOMO, fear of missing out, is so rampant in NFTs where something comes out and you have to act. You think you have to act immediately, and next thing you know, it's like, what did I just buy? What did I do? And I just spent $1,000 on something that's not even real, And it's so really you have to take a deep breath, go back to what I said. Number one rule: don't ever buy something that you don't know what it is. So if children and parents are investing together, they should do research. They should understand what they're going to buy first and what they expect out of it. Um, when I first was investing with NFTs, one of the rules that I was using, which I can't really use anymore, but it was, if this went to zero, I wouldn't care. I want to buy something that I don't care if it goes to zero. It's hard now when I'm buying things with a little bit higher of a cost basis. But in the beginning, I was like, okay, I want to like the NFT for what it is, not because I think it's going to go from point 0.3 to point 0.4, or I'm going to make a little bit. Like, it's the ones that don't think about the money that end up making money. If that makes any sense. So I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent, but the whole point is, if I was talking to a parent and they're about to get into it with their child, is to go slowly
Don't
and
FOMO in.
and don't FOMO into anything. Don't, when you buy it, it's yours. It's, and this is real money. Sometimes people are playing around with Ethereum, feeling like it's fake internet money, and this is real money that we're spending on these things. And So you need to know what you're getting into before you buy it.
Yeah, and I think that the idea of not speculating is really apropos, right? Because in like a tokens type environment, you're buying a piece of a brand or a character that you love, right?
Mhm.
And that's the value that you get from it immediately. Not to mention the utility and the benefits that will be baked in, the immediate access to gaming or to
Yep.
experiences, right? That's all gravy because you've bought something that you love, and that's the immediate value that you derive from it. And that and having that piece of that thing that you love, you know, should be can be value in and of itself, regardless of the possibility of turning a profit.
That's right. And it's those projects that end up turning a profit. It's very, it's very interesting. You'll see in other discords, I'll go into their chat room, and it'll mint at, let's say point one, and it'll still be at 0.15, and everyone's like, what's going on? Why isn't this going up? And it's like, if all you care about is the point, like, this is not going to work. This doesn't feel good. This whole, you can tell the ones. And I think I've told you, I've used this term for you with apes. They always said 1 ape equals 1 ape, right? And I think that came from Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, people always said 1 ETH equals 1 ETH, or 1 Bitcoin. That's the way you got to really think about these projects, and not be thinking constantly, how much is this worth? How much is this worth? And then really think about the project itself. And those are the ones that do well.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Learned so much from you today. I think we need to. I think we need to enact on this investment strategy, though. What do you think, Jeff?
It's gonna happen. While you were talking, I just pulled out my iPhone and bought a couple of them. No, seriously, we will put it together and we will check back, in a quarter, in a year, and see how we're doing here. I think it'll be fun for, our audience members and followers to follow along with the story also.
Okay,
Yeah.
It makes sense, yeah.
I hope so. Yeah. I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Well, any last closing thoughts on your strategy? Any final questions, Jeff? Or maybe you want to just do, Adam, some general shout outs to your kiddos?
Sure. Dex and Cal, who love NFTs. They're usually sitting on my left and right as I'm looking through it, looking through my portfolio. What's up, guys? But yeah, any last thoughts for me is I just couldn't stress more the patience and that's needed in this space. It's one of the biggest things I learned is to take your time.
Good advice.
Understood. Yeah. And you may not be an NFT influencer now, Adam, but as people start building, buying into your strategy, I'm assuming that they're going to want to know how to find you.
Well, you can. I have a Twitter account. It's AMRASKIN. That's AM Raskin. You can follow me there. I tweet a lot about my thoughts on NFTs.
And your Twitter avatar is?
It's my Bored Ape 4485. Blue ape
Nice.
with a blue bandana. There's only 3 of them.
Right on. 4855?
4485.
4485. All right.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you, Adam. It was such a pleasure, and so happy to have you as our inaugural guest on the Cryptos and Kitties podcast. Thank you, Jeff, my co-host and marketing advisor, for being here today. And I hope you learned a bunch.
I did, and I'm very excited to put together a portfolio and see how it matures.
Let's do it. All right. Thanks
Okay.
again, guys.
Thank you
We'll
for
see you
having
next
me.
time.